Next Level Mindset. Do you have the book? I wrote this book to really help people change their mindset, because mindset is everything. It's the most important thing for your direction that's going to change your life in the next 2 to 4 years is your mindset. Okay? So here's the other thing about mindset. There's lots of things in life. Think about this. I'm about to go deep. Put on your scuba gear. We're going deep. There's lots of things in life that we can't control. How many agree? There's things in life we cannot control. And guess what? A lot of people spend more time worrying about those things they can't control than anything else. How foolish of us. And I've done it. Guilty. So, but worrying about things we cannot control is actually the opposite of faith. People, think about that for a minute. That's deep. So here we go. Mindset, your mindset is something you can control. Our mindset, we can control. A lot of things going on in the world we can't control. So here we go. Today I want to talk about belief and your words. I really think that when you start to change your words, the Bible says your tongue is like the rudder of a ship. Have you ever heard that? Okay, let's think about that. Okay, I said we're going deep. The rudder, what does the rudder of a ship do? It controls the direction. But what if you're going in the wrong direction? Anyone ever feel like, man, I'm going in the wrong direction, or I've been going the same direction for so long and I need to go the right direction? Okay, so let's think about that. If the Bible itself calls the tongue like a rudder of a ship, and you've been going the wrong direction, you want to go the right direction, the first thing you do, not the second, the third, or the fourth, the first thing you do to turn a ship in the right direction is you turn the wheel and the rudder turns. That's the first thing that happens. Think about the order of things. The first thing is the rudder shifts, then the ship will turn, or the boat will turn. Principles, guys. So if we want to turn our direction, the first thing we should do is change our rudder, this thing in our mouth. So a lot of times people don't understand that when things aren't going your way, or when you're in a rut, or you're not going in the right direction, you start to speak first. Then other things start to change. Our words have power. Look at this. This is the big idea for today. You cannot be speaking life, faith, positivity, and winning words while thinking completely different things at the same time. You cannot be speaking life, faith, positivity, and winning words and thinking things thinking different things at the same time. You can't. So what happens is you start to speak and the rudder shifts, and now your whole life starts to shift. And some of you guys, a lot of people won't believe this until they actually experience it. So you start with your words. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper, because I want to tell you a story that's in the book. And it's my favorite story in the book. I tell a lot of stories in this book. If you've read it, I tell multiple stories. My favorite story in this book is the one I'm about to tell you. And it's about a football rivalry because we just kicked off college football season. For those of you that are college football fans, you'll love this story. Even if you don't like the teams don't matter. It's the principle. It's the principle in this story that proves what I'm telling you about the power of your words. And the story is about the University of Texas Longhorns and the Baylor Bears. Anyone a Baylor fan on here? You'll love this story if you're a Baylor fan. I'm not. But it's an incredible story. Any Texas Longhorn fans, you might not like this story if you're a Texas Longhorns fan, but that's okay. It's the principle. Texas Longhorns football is one of the biggest college football brands in the entire country. The school's athletic program is by far the richest in the country. Did you know the University of Texas owns more gold than almost the state of Texas? Think about that for a minute. They started buying gold reserves. They have their own mini Fort Knox. It's by far the richest school in the country, University of Texas. They have every resource in the world at their disposal and have historically been a powerhouse. Baylor, by contrast, the Baylor Bears is a small private school in Waco, Texas. And in the past decade, their athletic department has taken massive strides. Baylor is now a national brand in college athletics. They didn't used to be. Okay. Their men's and women's basketball teams are now national powerhouses and both have won national championships. Okay. At the time of the writing of this book, their football program was coming off a Big 12 championship, and they were historically cellar dwellers. Anyone ever heard of that term? They were cellar dwellers. They were at the bottom of the conference every year, especially in the old Southwest Conference. From 1967 to 93, the Bears experienced 7 straight losing seasons and went 14-58, included a winless season, no wins in a whole season, and 4 winless seasons in conference play. 4 seasons, they didn't even win one conference game. Meanwhile, the only year the legendary Darrell Royals Texas Longhorns did not win the conference and go to the Cotton Bowl was over that same span was 1967. So every year Texas was winning the conference, going to the Cotton Bowl, one of the best teams in the country. They were basically the Alabama, like Alabama was the last few years for almost 10 years. University of Texas. They were back-to-back national champions in 1969 and 1970. Grant Teaff, an absolute freaking champion. If you've ever heard him speak, he's a champion. If you can get your hands on a YouTube video of Grant Teaff, you go get it. You're going to be ready to run through a brick wall. Grant Teaff was hired at Baylor in 1972. While his first 2 years were marginally better than the previous 5, he was still trying to lay the foundation of the program, which included trying to instill belief. What do I talk about all the time? Belief. He would often talk about speaking belief and the power of your words. And from the day he was hired, he told everyone that they were going to beat Texas. Okay, so his first press conference, this would be like Vanderbilt, okay, or even a worse program because they were about to drop football. Baylor University was going to get rid of football, or the Southwest Conference was going to kick them out of the conference because they're like, these guys don't deserve to be even playing at the Division I level. They're so bad. Okay. I'm going to skip through some of the stuff because I want you need to go get the book. I go into great detail on this story. So for time's sake, After starting 0-2, Baylor rattled off 4 wins in their next 5 games. But oh, well, I didn't finish telling you that his first press conference, Grant Taft stood in front of a microphone and he said, "We will beat the University of Texas." So this would be like one of the worst teams in college football right now, coming out and saying, "We're going to beat Georgia. We're going to beat Ohio State." You know, which it's almost impossible for a team in the bottom ranks, the level of athletes they're recruiting, the finances, it's almost impossible. Okay. Baylor rattled off 4 wins in their next 5 games, 2 of which were over top 15 ranked teams. They were led by Taft and quarterback Neil Jeffries. Neil Jeffries had a stutter, so he would have to sing the play calls in the huddle. If you ever get a chance to hear Neil Jeffries speak, go hear him speak. The singing quarterback, because he stuttered. Jeffries and Taft are both incredible leaders, and I would highly recommend going to hear them speak sometime. I say it right in the book. Other than getting upset at Texas Tech and barely losing to Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry early in the year, Texas had steamrolled their way through the rest of the schedule and set number 12 in the nation with a great chance to win the conference, go to their 7th straight Cotton Bowl. The 12th ranked 6-2 Longhorns were set to roll into Waco and do what they always did, smash the Baylor Bears. The Bears were just 4-3 at that time. The first day of practice on game week, Grant Taft walked into the locker room and he told all the players and coaches, "I want you guys to know that I'm a winner and you're a winner and we're going to beat Texas on Saturday. Now say it with me." And some of the kids laughed and sneered and all that. But then he got them to start speaking it. So this locker room full of college players sat and recited that phrase over and over before even going out for practice. I'm a winner, you're a winner, and we're going to beat Texas. When they finally did go to practice, he would constantly interrupt it and make the team recite the phrase again. At the end of practice, he addressed the team once more and he told them that they had homework for the week. He said that if they did this, if you do what I'm going to tell you, we will beat Texas. He said that with every person you encounter that week, you look at them in the eye and you use your finger and you say, "I'm a winner, you're a winner, and we're going to beat Texas on Saturday." At first, the players were less than enthused, but they did it anyway because their coach told them to. Throughout the week, all over Waco, Texas, it began to catch on with students and residents. Suddenly, the entire town was running around telling each other, "I'm a winner, you're a winner, and we're going to beat Texas on Saturday." Floyd Casey Stadium had its highest attendance mark it had ever had, 43,000 filling the stands. All of this hype built up anticipation, and the Bears found themselves down 24-7 at halftime. A discouraged Grant Taft, the coach, walking up the tunnel, looked up to see a massive grin on the face of his quarterback, Neil Jeffries. Neil Jeffries just sitting there smiling. Taft asked him why he's smiling when we're down 17 points. Neil Jeffries looked at his coach and said, "Coach, I'm a winner, you're a winner, and we're going to beat Texas. We got them right where we want them." That's what he said. From that moment, Texas did not score another point. Baylor blew the doors off in the second half, scoring 27 straight points to finally beat Texas in more than decades, 34-24. Jeffries, Taft, and the Bears then upset 20th ranked Texas Tech the next week and did not lose a game the rest of the regular season on their way to their first conference championship for the school since 1924. Ending a 50-year drought. That game against Texas and the season as a whole are both referred to by the old Baylor faithful as the miracle on the Brazos. Grant Taft would continue to coach the Bears until retiring in 1992 and has gone down as the greatest coach in program history. The foundation of the program he built were the words the Bears spoke that led to their belief that eventually yielded the result they sought. So many people believe Baylor, who is a national powerhouse, a national sports brand now, is because one man, one coach spoke and he got other people to speak. And believe your words are like the rudder of a ship. And so many people I see in this business, they self-sabotage their business with their words. They'll say things like, I'm not a good recruiter. I can't, nobody on my team is doing anything. No, you got to flip the switch. You got to flip the script. I watched a Joel Osteen teaching a few months ago, and it was about flipping the script. And he said, even some people, will say things in jest or in sarcasm that are self-defeating. And he said, if you're going to do that, if you're going to be sarcastic, you're going to speak in jest, then why not flip it and speak something outrageously positive? Flip it and speak something outrageously or radically faith-filled, belief-filled. Flip the script and start speaking where your business is going. Start speaking the people you're attracting. That you're going to the next level. I'm going to hit this level. I'm going to hit this rank. I'm going to Cancun. I'm going to Diamond. I'm going to Croatia. Change your words, guys, and change your life.